Good morning. I'm back with a story for you, and this is going to be our big story of the week. And I think it's one that you're really going to like, and it's one that you're definitely going to know a lot about already. And you'll find out why in a second. Okay, before we get into the story, I want to talk about what kind of story it is. And this story is going to be another nonfiction story. So you can see on my board I have our word nonfiction, and we've been practicing, and most of you already know that nonfiction means it happens in real life. So in this story, you're going to see a lot of photographs about real life things because this is nonfiction. Okay? Now, I want to get right into our story, and I'm going to show it to you and talk about it a little bit more. And I think once you see it and hear the title, you'll know why I am saying that you're going to already know a lot about this story. So check out the cover of our story. The title is Shapes All Around. Okay, shapes all around. This story is going to be about some of our shapes and a lot of the shapes that we have already learned so much about. Okay, I know we're in the middle of learning about our 3D shapes, but this story is going to be about 2D shapes that we learned about last week and the week before. So you're going to see things like circles and squares and rectangles and triangles. Now, when we read the story, what you're going to be looking for is different examples of the shapes, and I'm going to show you some special things on each page because the story might be set up a little bit differently than the other stories we've listened to. Okay? Now, let's check it out. Shapes All Around. It's by Gary Thompson, and the pictures are by Stephen Mock. Let's get going. So check out the first page of our story. You can see the photograph of a real playground in the background, and then there are some illustrations too. So this is a cool kind of mix of photographs and illustrations. Let's read the first page. I am making a scrapbook of all the different shapes I see. There are circles, squares, rectangles, and triangles all around. Find the shapes I drew on this picture. Nice. So she mentioned 4 2D shapes: circles, squares, rectangles, and triangles. Take a look at the pictures on the page. Can you find where she drew the shapes on the picture? You should see 4 different places. Good job. Let's see if we can find them together. Here's a circle right in the middle of this part of the playground. Here's a rectangle. Here's a square. And then she actually drew 2 different triangles right here. So we see circles, rectangles, squares, and triangles. Okay? Let's move on and see what shape we're going to learn about first. Okay, it looks like we're going to learn about circles. Up here it says circles. This is called a heading, and sometimes nonfiction stories will have headings. Can you say heading? Good. A heading is usually at the top of the page, and it tells us what the page we're about to read is going to be all about. This heading says circles, and it's telling us that these 2 pages are going to be all about circles. Let's read. Let's look for more shapes in the park. We can find circles. Look at these rings. There are many circles you can go up, up, up. Check out all the circles. Okay. Now, nonfiction stories also have some words that might not be in the text of the story, but might be showing us what's going on in different pictures. These things are called captions. Will you say captions? Nice job. Captions can tell us what's going on in the pictures in a story. Right here, this says, play with circles. This is a caption. This says, blow circles. This is another caption talking about the bubbles. Look at all the different circles we see on the page. When we turn the page, we still see the heading is the same. It still says circles. This tells us that these two pages are also going to be about circles. Let's read. Wheels are circles that go round and round. Wheels can take you where you want to go. See the circles in the parade. The umbrellas are bright and colorful. How many umbrellas do you see? Wow, look at all these umbrellas. I have a little challenge for you. I want to see if you can count all these umbrellas on your own, and then we'll count them together to see if you got it. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to count here, and then I'll come back and see if you counted them. So just the ones in this circle right here, or this little area right here. Go ahead. Okay, I hope you had enough time to count them. If not, that's okay. You can help me count them together. I'm going to move my arrow to each umbrella and we can count. Okay, ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I see 23 umbrellas in this group. Did you get to 23 too? I hope so. All right, let's see. Let's see what's next. All right, I want you to look up here first. You should notice that the heading changed. It doesn't say circles anymore. And even if you can't read the word, you could see that the shape changed and the color changed. Now we're going to learn about squares, and our heading tells us this. It says squares. Let's read. Look out the window. You are looking out of a square. All four sides on a square are the same length. You can play games on squares. Move around on these squares. How many squares do you see in each game? Wow, check it out. You know, because you're so good at telling me about shapes. You know that squares have four sides that are the same length. Check out these captions for the pictures. It says, he's looking through squares. I'm looking through squares. Here are squares in a square. Wow. So the checkerboard and the board for this game are shaped like a square, and then they have smaller squares inside. Our hopscotch board is also made out of squares. Wow, that's a lot of squares. When you look at the next page, our heading is the same. Okay, our heading is the same. We're still going to learn about squares. Take a second to look at the page and see all the squares that they show us. Okay, let's look at this page together. It says, look at these squares. Some are big, some are small. Count them all. Okay, let's count the squares on this page. I see a green square, 1, a square here, 2, even a little square inside, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wow, 14 squares just on this page. And our caption says, these squares roll. Now, you know from KB, okay, that when we look at dice, the entire dice is not a square. That is a cube. Okay, but each face of the dice is a square. Now, let's go to the next page. It says, this quilt is made of many squares. All of the little squares make one big square. This big square can help keep you warm. And the caption says, these squares make a pattern. Let's keep moving. Our next shape is a rectangle. Okay, you can see that our heading changed, and it says rectangles. Run down the field. The soccer field is a big rectangle. There are smaller rectangles on the field too. Check it out. We can see some smaller rectangles on the soccer field. Okay. We can also see a circle here on the soccer field too. So sometimes we'll see more than one shape. Look at these buildings. They have many rectangles. The rectangles are different sizes and colors. What shape do you see on the roofs of these houses too? I see a triangle. Check out the heading. We're still learning about rectangles. Okay, let's see what else we have to learn. Rectangles are everywhere. Some rectangles are signs. Signs help us find our way. This sign says Central Ave, one way, exit. Many books, blocks, and sheets of paper are rectangles. We use lots of rectangles every day. The caption here says, this rectangle rules, because it's a ruler. So check out all the different rectangles. Uh-oh, our heading changed again. It's time to learn about our last shape, a triangle. Our heading says triangles. Let's see what we're learning about triangles. A triangle has 3 sides. You can make triangles for lunch. Cut a square and make triangles, then eat them all up. Ooh, this page is making me hungry. I see 4 triangles in the sandwich. I see a triangle-shaped slice of pizza and a triangle-shaped piece of pie, and even the piece of cheese that our mouse is holding is shaped like a triangle. Many roofs are triangles. When the rain hits the roof, the water runs off. The house stays dry. Check out the triangle-shaped roof. Our heading is still triangles, so we have one more section about triangles here. It says, on a windy day, triangles can be fun. Kites that soar in the sky are triangles. The sails on a sailboat are triangles. These signs are triangles. The signs tell drivers to be careful. Check out all the triangles. Okay, we're right at the end of our story. Our heading changed. It says shapes within shapes. If you look closely at something, you may see more than one shape. Look at this picture in my scrapbook. What shapes do you see? So I think this page is really cool. When you look at all the different pictures, you can see shapes inside of shapes. So when I look at this sign on the stoplight sign, it looks like the sign itself is shaped almost like a diamond or a square turned sideways. And then I can see a rectangle with 3 circles inside of it. And you can see different shapes in all the buildings. The sunshine, the flowers, the shed right here, her bicycle. Okay, there's lots of different shapes going on here. Take a moment to look at all the different shapes you see. All right. KB, that is the end of our story. I know that you are 2D shape experts, so this was the perfect story for you to see different examples of where we see different shapes in our world around us. We saw circles, we saw squares, we saw rectangles and triangles. And we'll talk about all of these shapes and this story more when I see you back at school. Thank you so much for listening.